Despite the monumental no answer given by the Greek people in the referendum, the Syriza government of Greece has gone ahead and negotiated a deal behind their backs. I don't mean to say I told you so, but I did. And this is what I predicted would happen. They were going to just put up a deal behind the people's backs. And that's why Varoufakis, the former finance minister, actually left the government, because he was unwilling to just make that deal behind the backs of the people. Now, the package that they've accepted as a bailout is pretty much the same as the one that the people already voted down. There's some slight differences. In fact, the deal that got voted down included 8 billion euros in cuts to social spending. The deal that they're going ahead with behind the people's backs actually contains 13 billion euros. So, in ways, this bailout is actually worse than the one that the people voted down. This is straight up a total capitulation to neoliberalism that has been headed by Germany. Essentially, Greece is going to now take on a role of having a devalued society, a cheap place for other countries in the EU to invest. And that was the whole point of this the entire time. The people never really had a choice. They never really got what it is that they wanted, because they chose to have members of bourgeois parties speak for them as opposed to speaking for themselves. And this is a great example of bourgeois democracy. Sure, you got to vote and say no, but what did you really get in the end? Exactly what you didn't want. And now Greece is going to be made subject to all kinds of neoliberal reforms, like cutting absolutely everything that they need and possibly, very likely, privatizing everything the government owns. This is very much what you get when you decide to do reform over revolution. When Syriza came into power, all the First Worldists were jumping up saying this was a huge victory. We have a broad coalition of the left that's against austerity and that could finally stand up to the EU and their unreasonable demands. Well, where did that get you? I said right from the beginning, this is not revolution, it's just reform. This is not a dictatorship of the proletariat. In fact, the number of people, members of parliament, that voted for this New Deal is about 250 out of the 300 members of parliament there are. So that's actually quite a substantial majority. I believe 32 people said no, and 8 of them abstained. So the numbers are right around there, but I do know 250 voted for it. With this whole broad coalition was doomed from the beginning. Basically, you had a left-center party taking in a bunch of radicals promising stuff, and then one by one, all the radicals, the real leftists, got purged out of the party. This is what happens when you participate in bourgeois democracies. All of these parties that joined with Syriza were fools. They should never have done this, and they were fools to ever think it could work. Nothing short of leaving the EU is actually going to save Greece. They are going to have to leave it. And when they leave it, they will have to resort to a planned economy. In other words, they'll have to take socialism whether they like it or not, because there is no other way to get through it. And it's going to be a very, very long, hard time of transition. The economy is going to be absolutely brutalized. In the meantime, there will be cuts to social programs at that time, because it will be literally impossible to afford it. And that extended period of suffering is what will turn people against socialism. And it will probably end up on a fascist road, some kind of fascist supported by the EU or the United States. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, I mean, really, people really should have seen this whole situation coming from the beginning. This is why you can't do reform. You have to do revolution. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, then head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you can go to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media.